Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror sci-fi film, Return of the Living Dead Part 3. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins at a military base where an older colonel named Reynolds meets with his fellow colonel and a female officer named Sinclair. In a few moments, a top-secret experiment involving the reanimation of the dead will be commencing. Sinclair is proposing a very invasive method of binding the reanimated corpses to exoskeletons in order to better control them, but Reynolds is adamant that they use a humane approach of paralyzing them with chemicals instead. A cart is wheeled by another soldier. On top of the cart is a body covered in a white sheet. The group is about to enter the laboratory, but Reynolds can't find his key card, so they use the soldier's key card instead. In a nearby hangout spot, Reynolds' son named Kurt proudly shows his girlfriend Julie his father's keycard that he stole that morning. Both Julie and Kurt are teenage rebels with a streak of fearlessness. In their latest escapade, they plan to sneak into the base to watch the secret experiment. Kurt had overheard his father on the phone talking about the big experiment, so he knows what time and where it will be held. Julie and Kurt successfully enter the base because Kurt uses his identity as the colonel's son. They pick a spot overlooking the laboratory where the experiment will be held. Below them are several military officials and scientists behind a glass window. In the center of the room is a male corpse bound by restraints. They release trioxin gas, which is able to bring back the dead to reanimate the corpse. Trioxin gas was originally concocted by Darrow Chemical, and now the military is interested in how it can be used to create lethal bioweapons. After a few moments, the man comes back to life as a rageful zombie, and he begins to struggle with his restraints. The other people in the room watch in awe. The military officers are already drawing up plans to deploy zombies in battle. The head scientist is congratulated for finally perfecting the project. The scientists then use Reynolds' preferred method of injecting a paralytic to subdue the zombie. It is injected into his forehead and completely paralyzes the zombie. However, it wears off very quickly. The zombie wakes up and thrashes around. The scientists try to restrain him, but he manages to bite a scientist's fingers off and bash his head against the wall. The scientist transforms into a zombie as well and bites a nearby technician to give him a free teeth massage. Chaos ensues, but eventually the soldiers contain the threat by neutralizing the infected. However, the military officers order that everyone exposed to the zombie be contained as well. Julie and Kurt go back to his house. They discuss the horrific events that unfolded during the experiment. Kurt declares that he doesn't need his father and only needs Julie, who can share her hormones with him. The two of them share a passionate tongue massage. Hours later, Reynolds finds them in his room, and he sternly tells his son that they need to talk. Kurt leaves Julie in the bedroom and steps inside his father's office. Reynolds tells him that he's being relocated to another assignment in a new city. Because of the ineffectiveness of his chosen method to subdue the zombie, Reynolds lost his position as the head of the project. Instead, Sinclair will take over with her more aggressive approach. Kurt refuses to leave because of his girlfriend. He storms off in the middle of their conversation. Kurt returns to the bedroom and announces to Julie that he's moving out on his own and taking her with him. After saying some hurtful words to his father, he and Julie leave the house. The couple is excited to leave their parents behind and start their own exciting lives. While on the road, Julie distracts Kurt by touching him. This causes him to lose control of the Tesla motorcycle. Julie is thrown off the motorcycle, and her body hits a telephone pole. The incident kills her immediately. Kurt holds her broken body and grieves the woman that he loves. In his grief, Kurt decides to take Julie's body to the base. He doesn't want to lose her, so he's willing to use the military experiment to reanimate her body. He uses his dad's security card again and sneaks into the base while carrying Julie's dead body. He grabs a hazmat suit and places her body in the middle of the room, just like he saw the scientists do earlier that day. Kurt struggles to pry open the can of trioxin gas. The gray fog envelops the room, and Julie's body slowly starts twitching. With a gasp for air, Julie comes back to life and kisses Kurt, but she doesn't remember the accident or death. While on the way out of the laboratory, they encounter a grotesque and hulking zombie man. They barely make their way out. The military obtains security footage of everything that happened on the base. Reynolds is summoned back to base, and he learns of what his son did. A female scientist explains that for now, Julie is not feeling the ravenous zombie hunger yet because of her hormone feelings for Kurt. But eventually, she will not be able to control herself, and she will attack him. Sinclair is eager to take over the project, but the fellow colonel decides that for now, Reynolds is still in charge. Julie begins to feel very hungry. She forces Kurt to stop at a convenience store, where she hungrily eats a lot of the products on display. A bully gang of 4 members makes fun of her, and Kurt insults them. This angers the gang, and they almost attack Kurt, if not for the attendant defusing the situation. The attendant pulls out a gun and forces the gang members to leave, but the gang retaliates and causes the attendant to be shot. As a gang bully passes by Julie, she bites him on the arm. This results in unrest in the area. Kurt and Julie flee in a van with the injured attendant inside. The military is alerted to Kurt and Julie's location. They set out to chase the young couple. Meanwhile, a police car is pursuing the van. The attendant stands up and screams in a chicken voice at the police officer not to shoot them. But the officer still shoots, and he crumples to the ground dead. Julie is attracted to the scent of his blood and flesh. She approaches the corpse and starts eating the attendant's brain. Kurt sees her and tries to stop her. The two escape into the nearby sewers. To distract her from the hunger, Julie grabs a metal ring and stabs her arm. The pain allows her to momentarily not be overcome by the urge to feed. She blames Kurt for turning her into a zombie, and he calls her disgusting, so she runs away from him. Kurt finds her holding onto the side of the bridge and about to attempt suicide. He promises to return her to her normal state, but she knows that she can never go back to being human. Julie lets go and dive into the river. Kurt screams and hurriedly runs after her. He walks along the riverbank and tries to spot her body. He doesn't notice that a vagrant named Riverman has been watching them. Meanwhile, the gang members are still chasing Kurt and Julie. However, the gang bully, the one bitten by Julie, is now showing symptoms of the infection. The gang leader decides that they will continue to chase after Kurt and Julie to make them pay for what they've done. Riverman approaches Kurt, and they find Julie washed up on the riverbank. She's still alive despite jumping because of the virus in her system. However, the gang arrives and threatens to kill them. Riverman tells the couple that he knows where they can hide. The military is still scrambling to find Kurt. You find out that Kurt and Julie will be using the storm drain to escape. However, Sinclair arrives and announces that she has been permitted to take over the project earlier. She is now in charge and tells the officer that there will be no special consideration given to Kurt, even if he is Reynolds' son. Reynolds reacts harshly and decides that even if he is no longer a part of the project, he will still fight for his son to be safe. Riverman takes them to his lair deep inside the sewers. He gives Kurt a coin and makes him swear that someday he will also do a good thing for somebody else. Kurt agrees. The girl bully tries to tell gang leader that their fellow's condition is worsening and they should be taking him to the hospital. But gang leader is hellbent on chasing Julie, so he orders the gang to go deeper into the sewers. Julie is freaking out about the future. Kurt assures her that they will still make it to Seattle and he will be a famous drummer. But she starts convulsing and is overtaken by her hunger pangs. She claims that she doesn't feel like a human anymore, and all she can feel is her hunger. Kurt momentarily comforts her using words, but not his muscles, and they fall asleep together. The military arrives at the entrance of the sewers and begins their pursuit. While Kurt is still asleep, Julie adorns her body with various metal chains and spikes, piercing her flesh so she can distract herself from her hunger. Gang leader finds the sleeping Riverman and demands that he tell him where Julie is. He dunks Riverman's head repeatedly in the sewer, but he refuses to tell them the location. Kurt couldn't resist hearing Riverman being hurt, and he runs out of the hiding place. He tries to fight gang leader, but he overpowers him. Moments later, Julie emerges from the lair. She looks terrifying, with all the metal spikes piercing her body parts. Gang leader approaches her and taunts her by saying lascivious things about her body, but he underestimates Julie, and she kills him without mercy. She then drags his dead body closer to the other gang members. Another bully tries to shoot at her, but the bullets do not do anything to her. She ends up killing him as well, and even taking a bite off his smelly face. Kurt tries to stop Julie, but she easily shakes him off. She chases the girl bully, who is about to climb up a ladder. She claws the skin of the girl's leg. The girl is finished off by her gang fellow, who is now infected. Riverman and Kurt hide behind a steel door with Julie. They barricade it with wooden planks. Riverman is horrified by the violence of Julie, but he still agrees to help Kurt. Meanwhile, Julie is losing herself because the pain is fading and the hunger is growing stronger. Gang leader and the girl bully are also reanimated as zombies, and the zombie gang members all try to break down the steel door. Julie begs Kurt to tie her up so she won't hurt him, but before he can do so, gang leader's head peeks through the door. Riverman decapitates his head. However, the other gang member has now broken through the door. Kurt stays behind to hold them back, and he begs Riverman to take Julie to safety. He bashes them with a metal pipe, but soon enough, the zombies break through the wooden planks they put up. Kurt escapes by running and hiding from them in the hallways. But when he gets to the hidden escape route, he discovers that Julie has betrayed Riverman and killed him. She is now feeding on his flesh and is fully a ravenous zombie. Kurt is shocked when he sees what Julie has now turned into. At that moment, the military arrives. They neutralize all the other zombies, including Julie. Reynolds insists that his son be separated from Julie. Kurt cooperates with the military and tells them the whole story. Reynolds sits down with him and admits that ever since his mother died, he has neglected to spend time with Kurt. He now intends to get to know his son more, but Kurt is concerned about his girlfriend. Reynolds explains that she will now be used in military projects. Kurt explores the hallways of the base. He discovers that Julie and Riverman, who is now a zombie, are both being kept in rooms and tortured under orders by Sinclair. He's now strapped into an exoskeleton that controls his every move. They will be deployed soon as bioweapons. Kurt is horrified by their treatment of Julie. He breaks into the cell where she's kept and frees her. Riverman also breaks free and starts a commotion. He attacks Sinclair and another scientist. Riverman knocks over a giant vat and releases another one of the creatures the military experimented on. One by one, more and more creatures are released. Sinclair tries to fight back by grabbing a gun, but eventually, one of the creatures grabs her by the neck. Kurt and Julie run through the hallways. A lockdown is triggered on the base, and Reynolds scrambles to find his son. The lockdown commences, and they are now trapped inside. Reynolds begs Kurt to come out and leave with him, but it's revealed that Kurt was bitten earlier, and he is now infected. It is too late for him, and he knows in his heart that he belongs with Julie. Kurt and Julie get to a furnace. The tragic lovers decide to immolate themselves, rather than be turned into heartless monsters for bioweapons. But what matters most to them is that they are together where they belong. The movie ends with the flames engulfing Kurt and Julie. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.